or gluttony or some sense of anger that has to do with the choices that, or the politicians that we have, or the people that are there, but actually they are there because we put them there. And we always keep forgetting that that's our responsibility. You know? And this is what I say to my students, to my audience in Portugal: don't vote for a poster. Try to read what they write 15 days before you vote. And actually we don't do that. So it's like I feel very anguished about this, because for me as a Portuguese and for me as a European and as a strange European, because Portugal it's not Mittel Europa, you know, we don't have people all around, we have this immense ocean. So Europe was a way of getting to know. And I'm pretty worried with that our children just don't think about it anymore. So I'll stop now.
This play, as we know, was written by a very young man. He was 23, if I'm not wrong, and you can read it as a libretto, having big street pageants, big images about the atmosphere during the French Revolution. Also, you can read it as an absurdist play, because the revolution is eating up, devouring the most important actors of the revolution. My understanding of what you have done is the revolution as an opera. In my point of view, this is a very musical performance with big arias, choruses, duets, trios. Was it very conscious for you to choose this musical structure for your staging, or what was the starting point for you?
Well, we know each other very well. We've been working for years now, and actually it's true. We always start to, when you're selling your fish, as sort of saying, this is wonderful, this is like a symphony. It has the first act, and so yes, it's true. Seeing something as music helps you structure. Okay. You know? So it's seeing it as mathematics. It also helps you structure. Most of the time, we are in panic because we decide to do something and we discuss it for a few days, a few weeks, and then we start to do it, and then there's, I don't know, maybe they'll talk about it, but there's always like this point in the rehearsals when we start to get really nervous, and because we're not doing anything that seems productive, and then something clicks and we go to the rehearsal room and we just do the first act, and strangely enough it comes as music also. And also, just going a little bit back to the first question and Danton, I think it was Schopenhauer that said that the great history, the history of people, was a tragedy, and the history of a person, of a family, is a comedy. And then Charles Chaplin, a few years later, said that the great history of the people is a comedy, and the small history of a family is a tragedy. What I think is amazing about Buchner is that he can do everything with it. You have both things in 2 words. He says he writes one word, puts a comma, writes another, and you have these 2 versions in the text. So I think he died. This is what I have in my head. It's I think he died because he spent himself writing. Because he wrote with the body and with it also, so he couldn't live anymore. Because all that he had was in these few texts that he has. And I also think that my favorite text is Saint-Just's text. Because it's a fake, you know? Because Robespierre's texts and lots of texts there are he picked them up from the convention, and Saint-Just's text is from Buchner himself. And I find it amazing that he had this clarity, because it's an awful text, but also it's true, you know, and it's true in a very cruel way. I always tell a story of Picasso. He was drinking with his buddy, and a woman came and said, "Could you sign these drawings that you made when we were sleeping together?" And because I have a child and he wants to go to university, and if you sign these, he'll go to the best university in the world. And he said no. And his friend said, "You're a son of a bitch." And he said, "No, actually no, because even Picasso makes copies of Picasso." So this cruelty that an artist has when he recognizes that his work, I think that Danton and Buchner had this cruelty, and this cruelty is mainly with yourself. So he was such a fiery genius that for me, in my imagination, I think he ate himself like the revolution.
Okay. Let me ask you a short question now. You should know, all of you, maybe you know already, that we celebrate this year 30 years of the Romanian Revolution. That's why everything which is connected at this festival to the revolution reminds me this duty to deal with this legacy, or what happened in '89 in December. Did we lose the revolution? Have we won it? And I think always from the point of view of those people who sacrificed themselves to a revolution, we won the revolution. From the point of view of those people who maybe organized the putsch, we lost the revolution, but still remains, the duty of constructing the idea of freedom. I'm telling this because you use, and this was a big surprise for me, I don't know from where it comes, a waltz Viennese in the performance, which comes to the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, probably closer than us than to you. Why is that? How it happened? Who is enough brave to respond to this question? Okay, you know? Yeah, okay.
It's no big deal. I only thought about it when I arrived to Romania.
That's funny.
I'm first generation revolution. Okay, so I got the chance to go to university to become artistic director of the National Theatre because there was a revolution. And it was the 25th of April and then the 25th of November. And a revolution doesn't, you don't win a revolution, you don't lose a revolution. You don't make a revolution, the revolution makes us. Revolution changes things, perception. And the walls it doesn't have anything to do with, I understood what it meant symbolically here for it, no? But for us, it was just, there's this thing in the second act where he goes out to the streets, no? And he looks at these people, and actually the little thin scenes that he constructs are pretty amazing. Because it talks about theater and people singing about theater and stuff. So he has these instruments of the 19th century to talk about an intuition of post-drama, of cinema, of montage and all that. So I thought, there's so much post-drama right now when, you know, people just talk to the audience that's talking to you, they're talking to and the walls seemed so quaint, and so such an afternoon promenade in a garden. That's why I chose it, and it's also a conservative music in Portugal. I don't know here. It's something that defends status quo.
It's the same here.
Okay.
No?
So it's also that irony that you choose it and you mash it up, because João did a wonderful job mashing it up, and so that it becomes in the end this great wail of sorrow and of abandonment that Lucille has, and but it's nice to hear this question, because we have this really close relation with Gabor and the Hungarian theater, and we came here, and I didn't know Romania or your history, but I stay a lot in the hotel, and you know, there's internet. So I searched, and it's then I started to understand, oh my God, I'm going to take Death of Danton with Strauss there, and it will be read in an entirely different way. But it's not. Also, no. It's the thing that, you know, brass bands from the country during fascism in Portugal, you had these little promenade dances where the brass band played, and it always played Strauss and Helger.
You know, for me also, I wouldn't say for us, because I don't have this courage to say for us, but for me also the Waltz Viennese is a dance macabre in many ways. That's why I would switch now our discussion to go back a little bit to the Buchner text, because the text is a very modernist text, because he shows to us the revolution, the French Revolution, from the point of view of women also. And this is so fantastic in this play, right? No? I will give to you the microphone. No. You won't escape now. Okay, you know, I'm speaking about Julie or Julia, about Lucille, about the nuns of the guillotine, about the young daughter supporting her family by being on the street, etc., etc., etc. Even the idea to have women in a play, if we consider the 19th century, we are not speaking about the third millennium now, okay? We are speaking about 19th century. I think it's something important and great. I want now to pass the mic to the. Yes, yes, I don't want to escape you.
Can I use this, your mic?
We have. So everything is recorded, so take care.
So no,
Okay.
women in the French Revolution were actually very active politically, in the streets and in the clubs. So no, they're not represented. Buchner did not write women taking part in the French Revolution. He wrote the wives and the prostitutes. He did not write Mary Wollstonecraft, who was a great friend of Thomas Paine. He did not write Lucille Desmoulins, who was a translator and a very smart woman. So, well, but no harm done. Buchner did an amazing job, but he did, literarily, it is a wonderful text, but the role of women in the French Revolution is a very passionate subject, and I recommend to anyone who might be interested to search, because there are so many wonderful writers, politicians, women who struggled not only to write, after the civil rights, the first declaration of civil rights, there was a declaration of children and women's rights as well. That's very, very beautiful and worth reading. So women were also guillotined like crazy. A lot of women died in the guillotine. And, well, Buchner wrote a boy's story, but no harm done. This is my personal opinion. I love the text. I'm very passionate playing it. And I love Nuno's vision of Danton. So, and we worked together as a group, not as men or women. We just worked together as the revolution. Our bodies were the revolution. So to us, that did not matter during rehearsals. It was not a question for us. We talked a lot about it, especially I. I was a nuisance. It's like, everyone just shut up, Maria, please, because we cannot hear her anymore. But the truth is, women in the French Revolution are not represented in the play, no. Just the wives and the prostitutes.
Okay, fine.
Can I pass the mic to Mafalda?
Yes, please. Pass the mic to. I just want to remind ourselves. I know this is a revolution. This is the continuation of the play.
Sorry,
right?
I think she said it all. I was just confirming something.
What? I didn't hear.
She said it all.
Okay. One second. You know, she was not coward.
You never agree with me, so
I just to say this, I understand what Maria says. I really like Maria, and putting that aside, I really think that the biggest text in the play is Marion's text, and it's profoundly feminine and profoundly human, and it's a great symbol of the revolution. I just think what really annoys Maria, and I understand that, is that it's trapped within the body of a prostitute. But it's a huge text that actually comes out of the play and really puts you in context, and really tells you that women are actually way more powerful than men. Okay.
That's the thing that annoys me, is that she's like, that's it, because no one was better or worse, and it's like the advent of freedom and happiness brought by women really bores me.
No, just Okay, so for me to make just a
You
plain
should
statement,
tour with us.
just to make a plain statement about women and men, because at my house I have a wife and 2 kids and 2 dogs. One of the dogs is a female and the other one is a male. So we keep arguing about dogs and female dogs and my kids who are boy and girl. So for me it's all the same. Just in the play, for instance, I agree with Nuno when he says that the most powerful text is done by Saint Just, and it's not because I play it; it's because it's huge. The text is it's really powerful. But I have the right to say that I think that the most wonderful text and the text that really sums what your need for freedom is all about is done by a woman, and so I think it's very important. I think it doesn't make it a feminine text. It's said by a woman. So, because what I'm saying is not a man text. I mean, I am a man, and I don't think like Saint Just, or so. It's not about that.
Just you know, Maria Magdalena was a prostitute. You know that. So being a prostitute is not a big deal. It's something like any other profession. Maria Magdalena.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're Romanian. There's a Latin tongue. It's, what I think is amazing about Buchner, and it's not just about Buchner. It's about texts that last, or texts that are new but like slap you in the face. Is that they provoke discussion in rehearsals, in the audience, with ourselves. And that's why we keep always coming back to the theater. And let me say, I'm astonished with Cluj, because you do come a lot to the theater. I never saw a city like this. So small city, and this is not a criticism, okay? It's but I'm astonished at your. It's like everybody saw Death of Danton like 4 or 5 times. That's amazing, you know. 2 months ago, when I came to the technical review, I went to another theater, the Romanian theater, and I was seeing The Tempest from Gabor, and the guy that was sitting with me said, you know, he's been seeing the text for the last 40 years. So when you're sitting, like, Jesus Christ. So it's so different from us. You have to understand that until 74, 85% of the Portuguese people, not 85, but almost 85% of the Portuguese people didn't know how to read or write except functionally. Because that was the trick of the regime. You give us God, wine, and family, and football. We kept the football and the family and the wine. And God also, but in a different way. But it's so it's
so you kept everything.
we kept everything, which we just it's true. But what's funny is how 4 great things, because even if you're an atheist, the idea of God is something wonderful. Just to think about the idea, family is something wonderful. Wine, we know we're Latins. It's really, really wonderful. And for a Portuguese guy, football, and this is not an offense because Portuguese women also are very great football fans. It's great, but the way you use it can be awful. You know? You can either drink a good wine with your family, watching football, and being close with them makes you being close with God, or you can be with your family trying to escape and watch a football game because you work in a wine cellar, and the wine cellar says that working in a wine cellar is eating for 1 million Portuguese, as they said in yesteryear, and you feel trapped in something. So it's not about the things, it's about how you pick up the things and do with them either good things or bad things. It's the same thing about what Maria is discussing, I think. You know, we cannot hide it. We live in a patriarchal society. Point. There's no discussion about that. You know? If you take all the heritage of Western drama, yeah, you have great actresses and great female characters. Maybe the best are female characters, but it's always tilted to the men. You know? So it's and it's an issue that we have to deal now. This actually, it was not an issue that occurred to me when I was doing Danton, but we spoke about it, especially from Marion, because I agree finally with Rodrigo. After 10 years, I have to say that Marion's text is, you know what a Sibilla is? Sibilla?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we know what this is.
Okay, I don't know it in English, but she's a Sibilla. She says everything and it's there, and actually we talked about that a lot, and it's but Buchner is we did Wojciech also a few years ago, and he just haunts you, he sucks you dry. I think it's even in Shakespeare you get a break, you know. You are doing Shakespeare and then you get a break. You just do 2 pages, like you go there and say that. And it's okay. In Buchner, you never get a break. It's like each paragraph, you're in trouble. And I think what they are not telling you, and I'm a witness of it, is that they work very, very hard, and the day that we premiered, the 18th, and especially the week before we premiered, everybody was at the brink of exhaustion. People were not sleeping, and I don't say that because I want your compassion or something. I just say that so that you couldn't understand, even if you didn't like the play or the proposal, the way it touched every element of what Maria rightly says of this group. We were all exhausted when we premiered this, and kept coming back to the text, It's
Okay. I think that I don't want to torture you or the audience, because the dinner is waiting you up there. First of all, you guys, you should be the first proceeding there to the table. I want just to remind ourselves that the last image of the performance and the play was the rebellion of the woman, of Lucille, which was a tragic and ironic in the same time, which opens up, in a way, a new discourse regarding the understanding of the revolution and our involvement in this kind of situation. But I want to be obedient to our ritual, so I allow just one question from the public, one short question from the public. Please take a mic. We need you to use the mic.
Hello, my name is Popius Onofre. It's about the beginning of the play and the music. It's about the beginning of the play and the music. The music is even closer than the Austrian Waltz because it's written by Georgi Ligeti, which was born some tens of kilometers from Cluj in Târnăveni in 23, and it's the first movement from Musica Ricercata, which is a series of 11 augmentated things. So, what, I don't want to enter into details, but the question is, did you choose by chance, because you liked, because it's very explosive and expressive, or did you choose this music because, in a way, the movement of the play is augmenting like Musica Ricercata of Gheorghe Ligeti?
Musica Ricercata is one of my favorite, and Ligeti is one of my favorite composers. I tried very hard to put the 11 in the play, very hard, for many months. And then I gave up and said, I can't. But this one, I can. And I don't know how to say to you this, but I have a playlist, and it has, this is true, okay, it has Musica Ricercata, and then Taylor Swift. I don't know why, but it's, when I want to focus, I usually listen to Ligeti. And also, he has these pretty cool things that mix, you know, astrophysics, mathematics, and music. And I'm a geek. So I find Ligeti like this really cool dude that I really wanted to meet, but I will never meet. But it's and for me, Musica Ricercata, you're completely right of why I chose it. Okay, and at the point, because I wasn't getting what I wanted, what I thought I wanted, I even tried to get out of it and go to other places, but I kept coming to Musica Ricercata. I didn't know, again, I'm sorry, that he was from around here. But also, and I'm finishing, because I really talk a lot. I really wanted to thank Gabor Tompa and the people from this theater. Obrigado. Okay. It was fun. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I propose to you a positive discrimination. Let them first to approach the tables and to grab the food, and then enter in